So, hello and welcome. Welcome to Developer Plays the Campaign. The reason to do that is basically we have seen questions from our community asking how to beat level 3. Because at this part of the game and the early access stage, there are still some difficulties left in understanding of the game which are not entirely well explained. But also the difference of performing bad or good can be quite high. So we decided, why not show how we intended the game to be played and what was our measurement to balance out those levels. And while doing that, we can also explain a bit of the mechanics and the understanding on what could be a good way to play it, or what were our ideas when we designed the levels. And maybe that will give you a certain insight and lead to feedback to improve the game further. But without making a way longer introduction, let's just start level 3 Futurebound. So, what I would do is simply skipping all the campaign text, because I assume that as soon you're playing it yourself, or if you have played it already, you would just read the text if you're interested. But I will explain you the goals that will come up with every milestone. And our first goal is to craft 10 simple circuits per week. And this is very important. We want you to craft 10 simple circuits per week, so you can, or basically the goal is to build up a production line, a steady output, because this is the goal of good company, to have a working production line and to optimize the process of doing it. And a very interesting part of simple circuits is basically the first module most of the players will encounter, where you need to use components, and components are a very important concept of the game, because modules are finished products that are meant to be either to be sold, to use for research, or to be used in products. While components are basically advanced materials which will be used just to make modules. So let's start out. At this stage we only have the Tinker table, so it's an easy choice what we will build to start our production line. And I will start in this little corner here, so let me place one Tinker table here, one Tinker table here, and let's say another one here, okay? So we're starting out with 3 tables, and what I'm doing right now is checking the recipes. So we have the simple circuits. I'm producing one simple circuit in... now that information is here missing because I'm not staying close enough. Should be in 10 seconds actually. Okay, let's check. So we can build within 10 seconds one simple circuit on a Tinker table. Assuming that I also have some time where I need to move, pick up materials, it seems one simple circuit should be doable per day on this Tinker table. So if I'm having 2, with 7 days a week, I should end up at somewhere 14, and we should be able to get our goal very easily. But what I need now are 10 electronic parts. That's a base material, most of you will already know it. And then we have circuit boards. And circuit boards are this component I was talking about that. And I need to craft that before I can craft simple circuits before. They also take 10 seconds to be made on the Tinker table. Let's click on it. And what is very important is that circuit boards are going to be crafted in batches of 10. This is really important and interesting for our ratio on how many tables we need to produce circuit boards and simple circuits. So my output every 10 seconds is 10 circuit boards. And I need 4 circuit boards to make one simple circuit. The production time of simple circuits and circuit boards is the same, which means with one table making circuit boards, I can suffice and supply 2.5 tinker tables at making simple circuits. Assuming that the transportation and pickup time of materials is the same for both simple circuits and circuit boards. But for the pickup time of materials, we are in the advantage as we can just decide it by where we are placing our shelf. And as soon as the same distance from any table, it should be fine. Placing it here will mean that every employee will be required to move basically one tile, either diagonally or directly. So let's put our circuit boards on this table, and in those two we're just placing simple circuits. Done, right? So let's go into the logistic mode and quickly connect those connection lines. What I can do right now is like a mass or basically making all connections at once. We call that batch connection dragging. So I can just start dragging from the shelf to my tinker table, and you will see on the top left it will create the connection for metal and plastic at once. And then I can just drag it back and you will see my circuit boards get stored. Perfect. And now I'm doing that for the other two tables. You see it will take the circuit boards, and I will also need to add electronic components. Putting it back, creating the simple circuit reservation. When I open that right now, I see 3 base materials that are metal, plastic and electronic parts. Then we have the circuit boards and we have the simple circuits. As you see, with this easy action, I removed the information from my tables already that they are missing a connection. This is really quick and easy. What I need to take care now is to get rid of all this warning notifications that either an input or output is missing on this shelf. And for the base materials, this is really easy. I just need to drag from the incoming zone to the shelf. But first let's make the order outside of the logistic mode. I click on it. We need metal, plastic and electronic parts. And done! There are the materials already. And now I can just drag it over. Between two inventories, it's very important that at the destination and at the source, both materials are already available. If I try to make a connection between two inventories, where at one end there's no reservation for the material I want to be transported, it will not make that transportation. This is a security measure basically for avoiding to mistakenly basically screw up your logistics by just putting everything over. For example, if I would now drag from the small shelf to the cell box, you see I'm not creating any reservation over here. And this is a very good reason, because if I open that, you see I have 5 items in here. And the only thing I want to be in the cell box is a simple circuit. So what I can do is just dragging this simple circuit over here to the closed cell or outgoing zone icon. And it's done. Now I have no warning anymore that I'm missing basically any connection, and we can start our production. I want to be everything automated, so I will start to set logistic points. I always like to set a logistic point in the middle between the incoming and the outgoing zone. And then I want to put one over here. I will just place it here for now. I can move it later if I need to. So I will start off with 2 logistic employees, one starting from the incoming zone and one being placed here. So let's hire our employees. I missed that one, okay. First one, start with the logistics. Then we will assign the ones working on the tables. Really quick and easy. And the last step is assigning to the second logistic point, so we get the finished modules transported away from this shelf over to the outgoing zone. Now we need to wait a short moment for the circuit boards to be crafted, because you see those are just waiting for the circuit boards. But as soon as the first employee is done, they can just start. And while they are busy working on the simple circuits, the first employee is working on the circuit boards again. And with that, we have a constant supply of materials and they will never run out of work. This is really important. It's always best to keep your employees busy with crafting. And if you're overproducing something, we can just put it into the sell box. This is also true for components. I can also sell the circuit boards if necessary, but my issue right now, if I would drag it over, my employee would just transport it away. So in bigger setups, what I would do is having two different shelves for circuit boards and simple circuits, so my logistic employee can take care about the priority. But more to that maybe later. Let's just see now how we fulfill the milestones. For that I would simply speed up the game. You see, it goes really quick. We had 6, now we had 8, and in a few seconds we should be done. Perfect. So let's skip this point again. Now we have a very simple goal: design a calculator with a processing power of 0.2. So what we just crafted are the simple circuits, right? And oh wait, we have a new button with this update, the blueprint designer, that I can open with B. Look, I didn't even need the table anymore. Let's craft or design a calculator. So we have the choice between simple cases and wooden cases. The difference are in the drawbacks. This one giving me weight, but it reduces heat loss and fragility. And this one gives me weight, reducing fragility and the ecological footprint. But I believe at this stage this is not really important. What is important are my costs I will have for the material and how long it takes to produce that and so whatsoever. I believe I want to start out with something simple, so it takes a simple case. Let's make just a simple case. We can see that it's over here still. We have 16 slots. I don't believe I need the 20, and we can also design our calculator based on that. If I would actually switch to the wooden case, you can see I'm having in my design a wooden faceplate, but you also see that the layout for the modules are changing. Let's go back to the simple case, and I like the white calculator and I always like the yellow square root colors. We would just simply call it the yellow. No, it's not really yellow. I think it's more teal. Teal stretch. Yeah, I need to learn to write. So teal stretch. Let's call him that fancy name. So now to design a product. What do we have here? So from the market expectations, we need display fidelity and we need battery life. Those are our mandatory features. I need to put in at least one module of both categories. This is a very easy directive. So I have an LED array, that's my only item that creates display fidelity, and you see it will go up. If you're unsure for once what type of item you need to build in, you can hover over that feature and you will directly see can be added with displays. That's really cool because we can go over here, we see, oh, that's display category, and you also see it adds the display fidelity feature, and you see, oh, you have your LED array. If you mouse over that or if you click on it, you can see it adds 0.2 display fidelity. It takes 10 seconds to be crafted and it requires 20 electronic parts. This is easy. And it can be even sold for 70G. So we have a good number on how valuable that module is actually. So we have this case, that's 70, this is 70, and we have a battery. Oh, we even have two batteries. We can decide, do we want to use a single cell battery or a battery stack? Let's go with the cheap version first, okay? I mean, starting out small isn't wrong. So I would just add this one to the calculator. Okay, we can rearrange it a bit to make more space. And then we have the processing power. The processing power is what we got asked to do, and we need at least 0.4 of it. This is actually the maximum which actually matters on that market. That's very convenient, so it fits to the market phase we are currently in. So that checks the simple circuit. The simple circuit is adding 0.2 processing power. That means we need 2 of those. And with that shape we have, that seems to be fairly easy. We're adding it, we're moving it from our mouse cursor, and now we see, okay, we have a pretty good product, I'd say. The drawbacks are also not over the limits where it drags down our rating. We need a minimum feature value of 0.2. If we are over that, it means our market appeal will be at least 0, and it would be really easy to sell any product if we give a small discount. Our market appeal is 3.8. The maximum is 5. It seems to be really good for just such cheap components, so I believe I would just keep it at that. My materials I need for one calculator are 40 electronic parts, 4 chemicals, 4 metal, 14 plastic. If I summarize my modules I have, all the modules cost 70G, I have 5 of them, so I could sell the modules for 350G and the maximum price is 800. That means just assembling all my modules together means an increase in profit by 450G. Of course I need to pay my workers, but this seems to be a lot. So finish the design, and we're done. We finished the milestone, okay, carry like that. We unlocked the assembly station. We also get a monetary reward for making that step. Oh, our sales statistic from the last week. Okay, we don't need that right now. Perfect. So let's check. 7 calculators a week needs to be produced with a processing power of 0.4. Okay, we just designed that calculator, and the good part of it is we crafting already the necessary modules. We know that we actually should make 7 simple circuits per tinker table we're using per week if we are not completely inefficient. And you can see that we have it here. So our report was we sold 9 modules the last week. Let's just quickly forward and see how many modules are we actually selling a week. I mean, this would be basically a good benchmark to see on how effective that production line is, right? So we're now on Saturday, then we're going to be on Sunday, then we can see our sales statistic. Okay, 14, that is sufficient, that's perfect. We don't need more than that, so we don't need to expand on that. But let me check out something. What does actually happen if I do following? I take this shelf and I put it over here. The working time of my employees will increase. This means they have less time to craft actually the modules they should craft. So I assume they will probably produce less than 14 modules a week. We push that over on the second day, so they have 5 days where they should be less efficient. And I would be really interested to see what difference does that make. Because it's really important for our planning. If that works out with a production time of 10 seconds and we need 7 calculators, I know 1 tinker table will be sufficient with that kind of setup when the shelf is so close. So let's fix that again, because we have some numbers. I can put it back here. Okay, so we sold only 13. If we would have moved it over in the very beginning of the week, I would probably only make 12 modules, which means I would make 140G less. 40G is the cost of the materials roughly for that circuit board. That means my profit would be 60G less just by moving that shelf away. So this is really efficient. Okay, I want to add the other modules I need. I need simple cases, single batteries, and LED arrays, and all can be crafted on that fancy tinker table. Okay, let's build up a production over here. We need 3 tables, right? So let's make that U form again. I really like it because It's very close, it's very easy to... You just basically have a corner where you make one specific thing. Nothing more, nothing less, so it's really easy. And we're setting our 3 modules we need. The cases, the batteries, and the LED arrays. But now we need more space than that one shelf. So what I'm going to do is probably just adding 2 shelves. One here and one here. That should be fine. So let's open the logistics. This one has 2 items on it, plastic and the simple case. This one has 2 as well. This 2 as well. See, we only need 1 shelf, so that's even better. Let's remove one again. And I will move this one over. So this one will be enough, and I can simply make now quick connections, force them back to all shelves. And you see all the warnings are gone. So everything that needs to be done is now here. And we're missing plastic chemicals orders basically to finish that one. So let's add chemical order. And then connecting it. And done. So the only thing we need to take care now is the modules to be transported away. For now I would just connect them to the outgoing zone to make sure that I'm not losing money while setting up my production line. The next thing I want to check is my shelf still in range of this logistic point to make sure that I can transport the materials put in here away. But it is. So the employee assigned here can also take care of the modules that will end up in this shelf. So let's quickly hire 3 more employees. And we basically have kinda the same layout than we have over here, just with for 3 different modules. We have enough inventory space on that shelf. That should be fine. If we speed up, you see, oh, okay, that works fine. And so we'll probably make 7 modules of everything that's set over here. What I need to take care of now is to have an assembly table. And I want to make my assembly table next to the outgoing zone, because let's be honest, products take require quite some space to be stored. That also means it's a bit bothersome to transport them. So if I'm just producing them close to the outgoing zone and the crafter can just put it in, it will be to my advantage. So I would just place a assembly table here, maybe a bit closer, because I can make this fancy shelf in here. Don't let it bother that it's inside of that zone. That is actually a really good place, because this shelf can be accessed from 2 sides. So my logistic employees will still move the same way, but just instead of putting it into the outgoing zone, it will end up in the small shelving rack number 4. And my assembly employee will just access those modules from this side. This is perfect. Let's open it. Let's set the calculator. And then we only need to do some more logistics. So you see, I have my warning again here, and what I can do is just connecting it like that, and all my modules are added on here. And then I'm dragging the output over here, and on my outgoing zone you will see I have reservations for my calculator. I even have 15, I don't need so many, so I would just reduce them just in case I want to add some more modules here. 10 should be totally sufficient. So my only concern is now getting modules over here, and we know we have them in this shelf and also in that one over here. The purple background items are our modules, so I will just now start dragging them one by one over here. Or what I could also do, because I have already the connection here, it's just making the complete drag, and you will see I will just take the module reservation and make the connection over here. But what I need to take care of now is I have 2 goals. I have one time the small shelving rack 4 that will supply my assembly station, and I also have to sell the outgoing zone where our module should end up. And it's a very good thing to do, because if this shelf is full, I can still sell the overproduced modules. In theory, there might be non-overproduced modules right now because we want to make 7 calculators a week and it seems like we will always end up with 7 modules. But just in case, let's have that set up because it's a good practice to do. And if I click now on this module, you see I have 2 connection lines, and as soon as I have 2 or more connection lines to other inventories from one inventory, that means this is solely handled by logistic employees, I can set priorities. And the higher priority should have this small shelving rack. So I'm just increasing it. And while I am at it, I think my outgoing zone is always the last place where modules should end up if I've never a better goal for or a destination for it. So I would just reduce the priority just in case. I will be prepared in the future. So I would just do that for all of them. And we're done with the logistics, and now I just need another employee to handle my assembly table. And now we will play the same game again. Oh wait, let's actually take out that stuff and just place it in here to have some starting modules, right? But the rest of the transportation will be now done by my employees. And you see, the producing starts. Do we know actually how long does it take for that little employee to make my calculators? I can click on this table here and I see it will start out at 8 seconds, but I can actually also open the blueprint designer and I see the assembly time down here. So it is a bit faster than a module, but what is really important is that employees take a certain time to pick up materials. For every different materials they're picking up, they currently need a half a second. So if he picks up 4 different modules, it will take 2 seconds to pick it up. Oh, perfect, we're done. So we produced our 7 calculators a week. Perfect. But it was fine. Basically, 2 seconds plus 8 seconds were less than 10 seconds, so we should be fine because even those people over here producing modules will still need some time to pick up. So our assembly employee is probably even a bit faster right now. What we have right now, let's check. So we finished the milestone. We got the analyzer's desk, okay, and the research desk. We got a monetary reward, and we sold some products. See, we sold actually 7 products, 7 calculators for 5,600 G. I can check the market panel, and our weekly demand is 40. We have a market rating of 3.8, and I could sell 26 calculators. This is way more than we are producing, so I don't need to put a discount on it. But let's check out research. I'm looking in here, and we can see what we actually have researched already. If you haven't played the campaign yet, let me briefly explain this one here. So the tier 1 modules are basically the ones that are always unlocked, and in the previous level you already got the battery stack and the wooden case up to the first trophy, so we assumed that you don't want to research that again. The LED matrix was already available, but not necessary to finish the level, so it's open to research again. And then we have some additional modules popping up in this campaign. We have a better version of the plastic case, we have a metal case, the better version of the simple circuits, the logic circuits, and we also have a new module, the small register bank. The lanes in here normally mean like one type of modules. The cases are a very special case because we have basically casing in different lanes based on their material, because they're depending on each other, but for the other modules it is very clearly structured. So I have a power supply, we have display fidelity over here, we have processing power, but what is that one here? We haven't researched that one yet. Small register bank. So my tip for everyone is try to get at least one research done in every category, because it will help you in the future to be prepared in case new features coming up. I can check it out, it's a small register bank, and what it's actually adding is data storage. That doesn't seem to be that wrong. We're making already calculators, so we would probably be somewhere close to it if something new comes up. So I would just click the start research button. But our goal is actually now to use 7 research data a day. So I want to set it up really quickly. It seems like we are not really overproducing modules that we can take constantly for our research, so we probably want to add more module production. So let me add a table somewhere. I believe that one is that's not good. I want to make a table here. Let's make a crafting corner over here again, because I'm really fond of this setup. I will also add like a shelf on here, preparing some more crafting, and then I also need some research tables. So to use 4 data a day, we need an analyze desk that analyzing us modules. So let's simply place it. And I also need a research desk because that's where the person is working, actually using my data. So I'm placing it over here, and I will also give it designated shelves for all the modules I want to use. And then let's check the analyst desk. You see, the different modules I can craft are listed in here, and the very basic modules are giving me 4 data points when I analyze them, but the better modules give me more points. I know that I can craft pretty much everything of it, so what I am crafting right now is the LED array, the single cell battery, the simple case, and the simple circuit. Those are the things I'm already making. And then let's say I also want to add a battery stack. Those are the 5 modules that can be analyzed at this desk. You see I have a limit of 5. 5 modules allowed for analyzers. Okay, this is fine. I set it. When I look into logistic mode, you will very quickly see I need to connect that. But I have a shelf for it with 6 slots, so I can just drag it over and I have the reservations. And you can remember that I actually prepared priorities. Now I can simply do that one. I can connect those 3, this one over here, and 4 of the 5 modules are connected. So if there's any excess amount that's not required for the calculator production, it should theoretically now feed first into the shelf. And why is that? Because if I click on it, you see now 3 outgoing connections. The the calculator production has a high priority. I gave it +2. My outgoing zone is on -2, but the new connection to my research department is neutral. Neutral is higher priority than -2, so they will get the stuff first before I'm selling it. But this is really unreliable right now, because we calculated already out that it's probably not overproducing that many modules, and I need 4 points a day. That means I need at least 1 module to analyze every day. It doesn't look like I will have that excess amount to be produced. So I would just add a battery stack production over here. This seems to be really easy, and also giving directly 6 points. So we go back into logistics, really quick connecting it, force them back, dragging from the buy zone to base materials, and you see it's already connected, so there's only the battery left, and I will just connect it to my research department, but also to my cell box, and making sure that the cell box has a lower priority. So I've set up all the logistics required for that battery, but it's not in range of my logistic point anymore. So if now some modules end up in here, I will have no employee to transport it away. So I would simply put over my logistic point a bit. It's still in range, it's still fine. But I need to check now. No, my incoming zone is not in range, because I want that employee just focus on transporting modules away. That's cool. Now let's hire some additional employees taking over the task. 1 making the batteries, 1 that should analyze, and 1 that should spend my research points. And now we need to wait a bit for some modules end up in our R&D department. I will speed up the logistics. I will just take it over here. Okay. And you see, he's grabbing the battery and he's analyzing it. It would take some time. The base time on this desk is 20 seconds. Increasing if the module becomes more complex, but the additional yield of data points is better than the waiting time. So in the end, you will gain more research data in the same time if you use better modules to be analyzed. And now we have our research MP just spending our points, and you will see this bar fills up. Will it be enough to use 4 a day? Yes! So one researcher will spend at least 4 research points a day. Okay. Time to expand, it seems. So we got a monetary reward of 25,000 G, and this is because we got the ability to build another building. Buy another building. We don't have the building in. Maybe we'll never have it. We will need to see that it will be a thing at some point. But okay, let's check our next milestone. So look, when we're buying this building now, we will get pocket computers, really cool. We will get an electronics workbench, and we will get 15,000 G. Okay, how much does a building cost? 20,000 G. Okay, so I'm spending that, and I'm directly getting my 50,000 G. So I just lost 5,000 G for a new building. We're still making a good profit. We need to be careful to not over research, basically. That sounds now stupid, but my research costs me money because I am basically trashing modules for it, right? And also the guys working on it cost me money every day. So, but we are still in a profit. We're still in green numbers. That's super cool. This is fine. So we can just focus on setting up our pocket computer production. And we got the electronics workbench to help us with that. So as we have a new building, let's say we're making now everything is a new building, so our calculator production and our research can be standalone over there. And the goal is making 5,000 G with pocket computers. We have no time limit for it, so this throughput doesn't need to be super high. The only thing we need to take care is having pocket computers now. Let's check the blueprint designer. Pocket computers. Oh, look, I cannot use a simple case, I need to use a wooden case. But that's fine, we have it unlocked, right? So I'm gonna use it. Okay. It has a really interesting layout, it's blocking me in the middle, so it's becoming a bit puzzly to fill it in. We can check for cool appearance. So the display is yellow, seems to be all the case. I like that one. We had a discussion about that one, how to make it looking more retro. And it was one thing was the display color when we were talking about the PDAs. And the other one, especially for this one, we decided, why having the display in the middle? It looks more oldish, retro-like if it's slightly tilted to the left. And also the color selection was based on that, so it should look a bit more retro. Sweet clouds, that is cool with the wooden case. The black doesn't fit so much, I think metal would be better for that. Oh, now it's super brownish, I don't like that. The leaf green is actually quite good, it's comforting. I believe I will take the leaf green, so let's just call it olive green. I'm really good at making up product names, you see. Okay, now let's check what do we need. We need processing power. Oh wow, we're working on that all the time. Processing power up to 0.6. We need display fidelity. Okay, we can provide that as well. But now we have an issue. We do not have it. We have data storage on here, but it's not a mandatory feature. We're researching that, but to sell a PDA, a pocket computer, we're not necessarily needing it. We need just processing power and display fidelity. The minimum feature value we need is 0.4. And now I want to check something. Let's look in the market overview. And you see the weekly demand is 30. The price is 1,600. So we need to sell 4 computers to have the 5,000 G. Okay, that is not much actually. and we have a weekly demand of 30. That means 1 star rating lets us sell 6 computers every week. We do not need to make something super fancy. And the minimum we need to set is now an LED array and a simple circuit. But that doesn't look good. Look, we have a market appeal of minus 0.5 points or stars. This is not good, we need more. I want to have at least 1, but I believe a bit overachieving wouldn't do bad. So I will place another of those fancy circuit boards, because we know that basically if I'm doing the component production, I can easily supply 2 Tinker tables making simple circuits, so I can produce 7 or 14 simple circuits, enough for 7 pocket computers every week. And let's say we also want to use 2 Tinker tables for the LED production. LED arrays, yes. So we should be fine with the case that can be also crafted in 10 seconds, right? Yes. So technically we need 6 tables, but wait, there is something on it. We can actually craft simple circuits in 4 seconds on the electronics workbench. That actually means we only need 1 table for 2 simple circuit productions, because it's less than half of it. But what we should not forget is there's still a walking time and we cannot reduce that. So if the walking time is like 2 seconds, the Tinker table, the production on Tinker table requires 12 seconds, and the production on the electronics workbench requires 6 seconds. So it's roughly half as a double amount. That's not 250%. But I believe that's fine. So let's finish that design of Olive Dream. So let's set this one up. So the first thing we need, and I will make it in the room over here, is whoops, the camera was a bit problematic. So circuit boards, right? And then I will use the electronics workbench. It costs quite a bit. It costs more than 4 times as much as a Tinker table. But the big advantage is that I need less space, and I also need only 1 employee. An employee costs me 20 G a day, and that would be 140 G a week. So like after 10 weeks of production, I'm out in the green, and by investing in the electronic workbench, I save money by using the better equipment in long term. It's just in short term that the cheaper equipment is better. So we have that one set up, and then I need 2 tables for the LED arrays. So I would just place them over here. I have a bit problems with my camera, sorry. I believe that's because I'm pretty much at the edge of the map. There's some problems left. Please ignore that for now, we probably will fix that very soon. So I'm setting the simple circuit. I set the circuit boards. I'm setting the LED arrays twice. Oh, what I forgot right now is actually, it's very important, I should not forget that, my casing. So I need wooden cases to be crafted. And I'm checking on that, setting it. Okay, we should be fine. I need some shelves, and I like to use the corner shelves right now for it. So the corner shelves are really awesome, because if I place a corner shelf like that, I can access it from this tile over here, and also from this one. Which means that it can be accessed from a bit further away, and also I can make the 2 tables can access it from the working tile basically. So my employees do not have any travel time anymore. I'm placing 1 here for those 2 tables. Then I will place 1 here so I can stand here and here. And then I have my wooden case where I place a shelf over here. So I have 3 shelves for 3 different types of production I'm going to conduct. Let's go into logistics and just start to make connections. Oh, now we have a problem. See, I can actually not connect that one back. I'm missing space. So this is not a smart idea. Let's remove it and place a small shelf. I will just change the camera mode over now, so we won't have any problems with it. Setting it up. Okay. Now you see that I can make set connections properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, done. And now over here, that should be fine, because normally a production or our module never needs more than 3 materials. And it will always put out 1, and I have 4 spaces, slots on the shelf. So it should be sufficient space. See? Done. And now the wooden case. Okay, that's all cool. And to make sure that the stuff gets transported away, I would directly make the connection. Oh, now I mixed it up. That should not be here. That's a outgoing zone, okay. Okay. We cannot set the priorities yet because we only have 1 connection each, and now we need to take care that our materials get purchased. So we know we need metal, plastic and electronic parts for the simple circuit. We need wood for our wooden cases. And that's it. The LED arrays also need electronic parts, but I believe we need quite some amount of electronic parts. So I would just make the order 1 more stack just to be sure that we will always have materials. I can quickly go back into logistics and make those connections really quickly. And done. Now our logistics is set up and I can hire, oh yeah, I could hire employees, but we need, let me check logistic points. So 1 over here again, and then I will place 1 here that would cover all shelves in this corner. And now we are hiring our employees. 1 to transport our base materials to our crafting corner, and then we need all those employees working on our workstations over here. Very important is that you never prepare too much production at once. Because if I'm starting now to set those employees and start to buy materials, what will happen is I will have very high spendings for the employees before they can start working, before they are able to produce anything I can sell. But also I spend a lot of money for the materials I'm purchasing to fill up my stocks, and I can wait. We need to add here the logistics work. Okay, I can show you in my net worth. The net worth is really interesting because it's basically a summary where the money is stored in your company. So my account balance, that is really obvious what it is, right? It's my money I have to spend. Then we have the material storage, and this is really important because the material storage is everything in your shelves. That includes the base materials, components, and modules. Those are all considered material because our goal is to make products. And you see, I have already 13,000 GUs. Now imagine if I would double my production, I would spend 13,000 just to have more material in my company that's not yet sold. Then I have my product storage, which is basically the value of my products everywhere in my company. You see, it shouldn't be that much because I should not store so many products that I cannot sell them. So this is fine. This is super fine. You see, it reduced to 0 just because we sold just everything. Then we have our equipment. This will be always a very high point of balance be used and a part of our net worth. For example, this building we purchased, it cost us 20,000 G. That's also included into the equipment. And then we have research. So this is basically a reflection on how much money we spend to research our technology. Let's research something new, an LED matrix. I would just start that because you see in the meantime we finished the small register bank. And now our points are spent again. So when I look at it now, you will see that when I'm spending a point, it will reduce. And if a module was finished, to be analyzed, you will see that it increases because it generated data points for me. Okay. Our module production is going well. Now it's time to place an assembly table. So we will do the same thing again. We're just placing an assembly table close to our outgoing zone, so we can reduce our walking time, and we have no necessity to have an additional logistic entry, just taking care of our let's say of our products to be transported. Okay, that shelf over here, it will be now a bit in the way, but that should be fine. Okay, we need to set our olive dream on this bench. How's our production time actually for it? It's also 8 seconds, okay, because we basically have the same amount of modules in that product like in the calculator. We need to do some additional logistics, so I can just drag it over here. It will just add all the modules I need, and then I will drag that one into the cell box, and we have again 15 reserved slots, but I believe we won't sell more than 10 right now every week. And now I need to make the connections of the modules over to my pocket computer calculation, and now I can set priorities again. And it's very important that I take care that my pocket computer calculation, pocket computer, not calculation but production, has a higher priority, because it will yield me more money to sell products, but also it's my actual goal in this campaign milestone. Okay, this is done. Now we need an additional employee to take care that our pocket computers are produced. And we basically need to wait again. There's nothing more we can do. That little girl doesn't know that she can also take some modules from here. My bad. So I would just hand it over to her. So now we need to wait. The goal is earning, so we need to wait until we sold the products. Let's speed up the game and see what happens. We said we need to have at least 4 of them, right? Let's check the market. 1,600. We can sell potentially 6 every week, and the price is 1,600. Should be fine. It's Sunday. And done! We finished level 3. We got the first trophy.
Another company has dug itself out of a difficult situation.
What we can do right now is trying to reach our next goals. So, what is our goal number 2? I will open it. We get the second trophy in the case of us just producing 20 products per week. That should be doable, I guess. So what we have over here, so we got more research to be unlocked, and we got money reward again. Okay, that checks that. More researchers. We are almost done with the LED matrix, so we got a better battery, and we got resistor arrays. Okay, so we can start researching something after our module has been done. What we can do right now is we need to produce 20 units a week. We see we have 7 computers in here, so to keep up selling, I need to add a discount to this one, a small one, 5% would do, and I will be able to sell 8 of it. This one is already at 26, so no problem at that end. Our research is done, so I will quickly choose another one. Logic circuits sound good. So, and what I want to do now is, okay, we're producing 14 to 15 units every week. What we need to do is either double our calculators, or we need to double our pocket computers. And since I'm already over here, and it seems to be very simple, I will just double my pocket computer calculation. This should be easily doable. First of all, I need a double amount of wooden cases, and for that I will just rearrange a bit. This should be really quick, so I'm making space for another tinker table over here, because I mean I just need to connect it and then it should use the same transportation methods. Oh yes, I forgot to set the production. Okay, just connecting it. And then, because I set everything on this table for the materials and the wooden case to be transported away, I do not need to do anything else than just simply adding an employee to that table. And that should be fine. Actually, you know what? I will do some more. So I will organize it a bit more. So let me put that table over here and that one here. And then we're putting the shelf for those little nice ladies over here. What is now the case is that this logistic point is not in range anymore. So I would just buy another one and place it here and have an employee taking care of it. We don't need to take care if the incoming zone stuff will be transported over here, because we can be pretty sure that it will be fine because the logistic point over there is still in range. So that logistic employee will find the new shelf position. Okay. The next point is we need to double also those two productions. So I want to just drag it out a bit. I want to put Tinker tables over here. And I will just make it double right now, and they also need their shelf because otherwise they might run into a problem. Okay, perfect. And then I want to be more efficient, so I place another shelf over here. Quickly setting the LED arrays. Yes, okay, so those are still in range, perfect. And now the thing that's set up over here I would just do right now. On the second part of the LED array production, my materials should be all ordered, and I can just use that as output and take care that the priorities are right. Okay, this one has been upgraded. I just need 2 more employees. 1 and 2. And the last module I need to add additional production are the simple circuits. And for that we will set up the same thing again. So we have circuit boards and we have some simple circuits with another... You know what? I'm lazy. I would just not take this shelf. It seems to be one field movement. Seems to be okay. So I'm setting up the circuit boards and the simple circuits. Hiring 2 new employees, and you see I got a warning because I forgot to make the logistic connections. So let's quickly go into the logistic mode, add those connections, and yes, the rest is still set up. What I want to take care of now is the throughput of the shelf will be a bit higher, and I have 1 more slot. What I would want to do is reserve more space for the circuit boards. So I can make sure that I will always have my stock will be always high enough. So if I'm now assigning, I assigned already employees did. So I should make enough pocket computer or modules for pocket computer production to add another assembly table, and we would just do that right now. Assembly, an assembly line, and just adding it here. That will make the olive dream. I will just be connected and hooked up to my inventories. Then we need another employee. So we doubled our production, but yeah, there comes always a but, right? So we're making 10,000 weekly profits. This is really nice. Let's look into our market overview, the pocket computers. What I'm seeing right now is that we are already selling 7 and 8 computers every week. So my reserved space here is currently 15. I can assume I will be able to sell up to 16. So let's first adjust the price to accommodate for that. So 25 is good to have 16. Our sales dropping from 1,600 to 1,200. But if I look into my blueprint designer and I check the design, I see that every module here cost me 70 and I believe the wooden case would bring me 100, so we could sell the modules for less than 400 G, but respectively we get 1200 G, so we make an increase of profit of more than 800 G. And we can sell far more now by just reducing our profits a bit. This is a smart investment. The only thing I need to take care now is that we can actually also store the amount of pocket computers. We reduced it to 10, but we want to sell up to 16. Okay. The reason why I'm doing it is just to make sure that the employees can put down the pocket computers they are producing, because if they cannot put them in the outgoing zone anymore, that means they can also not produce them, and I will not be able to reach my goal. Okay, we did it. Really cool. So we can see on our sell overview we made almost 19,000 G with our products. We sold one module, a bit overproduction is there. We also researched our logic circuit. We got the 2 trophies and we got the monetary reward of 8,000 G. That's cool. What is now is craft at least 14 tier 4 modules per week. And if we're doing it, our pocket computer will advance into the next phase. Now, I would cheat a bit, and if we look at the next milestone, what means cheating, I would just try to plan ahead. So, in the last phase, or in the last milestone, we need to earn 10,000 G per week with pocket computers that have a market appeal of at least 4 stars. Okay, that means we probably need to improve our pocket computer, because even right now the rating is not really well, and it might even have an increased feature requirement. And I'm pretty sure that there will be some data storage requirement. I mean, we do not fulfill that, but also display fidelity. If I'm looking into the design, we still have some space left. And we need to now decide which tier 4 module we want to have to make that pocket computer. We can, on one hand, choose the enhanced battery cell, which gives me 0.4 battery life. Or we could take the register array, which is also a tier 4 module, giving me 0.3 data storage. That's actually just as much we need right now. Okay, so let's go for the register array. I want to research that one. And you know what? I'm making so much money. I will invest more into research. You see, my guy over here is analyzing, and that one is researching, and I have quite a bunch of modules stored in here right now. So what I can very simply do is adding another research analyze desk, but also a research desk, so I can ramp up my my research. Okay, we're adding those 5 modules we are having already in the shelf, and we're connecting that, and then we're adding 2 more employees. I haven't ramped up it before because I nearly made enough money to sustain myself, but now I'm just making so much money I can just throw that money out for research to just speed it up. So that one is already working, and that's my researcher. Perfect. So let's speed it up a bit to see how that works out for us. We could even improve the speed a bit more. We might even build another analyze desk because our research data is melting quite quick. Or is it fine? It seems to be fine actually. So we need to just wait a bit until our research is done, and then we need to check to make that module. We need 14 of it every week. That should be doable. And it should be actually quite fine with us to make those, because that is really well fitting into our production amount right now. Yeah, we're not making enough research data. So, you know what, I would just add this analyze desk over here, set it up, just to have it ongoing as well. It's really quick. And we have enough funds for it. But you see, our weekly profit just decreased because we added more research. Okay, we're done with that one. I would just now also the researcher enhanced battery cell, just in case we need it. Okay, let's see, 14 tier 4 modules. I'm going to open my construction menu and I'm having the electronics workbench here. And I can make the small register bank and the register array both on this one in 4 seconds. And as we learned, we should be able to make the 14 modules a week on this workbench if the production time is 4 seconds. So I would say, let's just place it. It should be fine. So the small register array requires plastic parts and circuit boards, okay? And the register array requires plastic parts and integrated circuits. Okay, that seems like quite a challenge. This is going to be interesting. So we're setting it up, that one here. That should be sufficient. We need a storage that is big enough, so we have 1, 2, 3 different materials in here. We have that over here. So that's 4, 5, and 6 for this output. So 6 slots should be fine. But if I'm placing this one here, no, here, no, that's standing in the way. So let's put it here. This should be fine. And what I need right now is to make those integrated circuits, the plastic parts and the circuit boards. Okay. But I believe that I actually might have enough circuit board production over here. So what I'm going to do is, let me look into logistics. I would just quickly, oh, I forgot to properly up. I need to change the product. Okay, I need to produce both. So back to it, and we have the first module and the second module. I misclicked, so back to it. So those are connected, right? And I want to take the circuit boards over here, putting it into this shelf. This should be fine. We have some base materials I need to buy. Okay, that should be fine as well. I have this output of register arrays. I would just drop it into the cell box, but I will also prepare to have it on the shelf here. No, wait, I just want to sell it for now. What I need to take care now are integrated circuits and plastic parts. So let me check where to build them. The integrated circuits can be built at the electronic workbench in 10 seconds. Let me build the electronic workbench and click on it. But we see our output of this component is 50. And we need only 5 every module we make. But we make the double amount of modules than the batches of integrated circuits. That means we need 10 from this batch. While we're producing 50, so we're producing way too many integrated circuits. So when we're setting it up, we should take care that the overproduction gets sold. Then we have plastic parts that can be made on the Tinker table. And let me check that one out. It's also producing 50 at once in 10 seconds. Let me check those once again. So we need 5 here. It's double as quick, so we need 10. Then we're having that one here. That would be also adding 10, so 20 for every module we make, or for every 2 modules. And our integrated circuits also need 10 every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds we need 30 plastic parts. We're producing 50. So we're also overproducing 20 of those. So we really need to take care that the overproduction gets transported away. But the good thing is that we can take the plastic components, as the plastic parts, we're crafting over here directly there. But there is now a trick on it. You see, the problem is, if I'm setting up a shelf over here, right? And I'm setting it up like that, and the plastic parts feeding into that shelf. And this electronic workbench requires the plastic parts. Now a mean logistic employee might come by just taking out all plastic parts, because the logistic employee doesn't know that this electronic workbench is actually requiring those plastic parts. So what we are doing is, it looks silly now, but let's put that shelf over there. We give it one shelf, that one here, and we give this electronic workbench another shelf. They have dedicated shelves now. And now we're making some quick connections, as usual, and connected those ones. And we just need to take care now that our shelves are connected. We know where to get the base materials. This quick, okay. And now this plastic parts, I need to deliver them to this shelf. I need to deliver them to the module production down here. And if I'm overproducing, I want to sell them. And now I need to open this view. It is very important that selling is on a lower priority. And then we need to take care that our components are produced and our modules are produced. But I would say our components are of a higher priority, because if I'm missing integrated circuits, I also cannot make modules. So I will put it on a slightly higher priority to just make sure that this guy over here making the integrated circuits can start working before the people at the electronic workbenches making the modules can start working. So, and if I've checked that one, I need to distribute the integrated circuits to my module production and selling the overproduction in my outgoing zone. And I also need to make set the priorities for that properly. So that being done, I just need to check if all my shelves are in range of logistic point, which is not the case. So it is actually the case, but this is really bad. Look, this logistic point, if I have it set here, this is really far away from each other, so I will want to optimize that one. So what I'm going to do is make sure that this logistic points only takes care about the stuff that's over here. But this one is technically closer, so I can just place it in here. That's a nice little space, and that one will take care about those 4 shelves, or of those 3. And this one takes care about these 3, and this logistic point would take care about the incoming zone and my shelf for the plastic parts. So I have now sufficient logistic or all my shelves are in the range of logistic point. What I am doing now is hiring some additional employees to start crafting. First my components, secondly my modules. And if we have done that, we would just speed up things a bit. And I could just actually select another research. We still have some metal cases and the plastic cases open. I want to have some metal cases. We actually, our weekly profit is decreasing. Why is that the case? Those people over here are missing wooden cases. Why are you missing that? Because you are missing wood. You only have 2 wood left. It seems my employee over here has too many target inventories he needs to transport to. So let's optimize this while we are waiting for our production. The first thing we can do is just adding another employee to that logistic point, and it makes sense because we just kept on increasing our throughput without increasing our logistics. Okay, that is handled. Our other 2 points I believe should be fine. The second thing we can do is we have some funds left over. We have quite some money. So what I want to do now is just increase all of our orders to have more base materials stored. And the second step is I go into the logistics, and look what I'm doing right now. I would just increase the bandwidth on all of our shelves, and there's a very, very simple reason for that. If I'm increasing the storage capacity for every of those modules, means that my logistic employee can transport more at once. And if I do that at every shelf possible, it means I need to move around fewer times to get all the material transported. We can do that for the wood, for the metal here, we can do that for the electronic parts over here, and we can also do that for our components. That's optimizing the logistics actually, because the logistic employee can take more stuff at once in his hand. And with that he's more efficient because he's transporting more materials in the same time. So now we're going to wait a bit. Those guys not having their plastic parts yet. Oh, it's probably, I made a mistake. Let's say I want to have less reserved space for those components over here, but my issue is that stuff got already transported over here. So I would take it out, then I would go into the logistics and I will just reduce the reservation. That should be fine. Now I can go over here and just put that in and they can start work. Look, and we have only one research left. Okay, I would start with the plastic cases. And as I have now enough research done, I don't need more data points. I can actually fire my analyze employees to save some money. Optimizing means also to get rid of the employees that are not contributing anymore effectively to my company. So, done. And I know I'm cold-hearted. Fast forward. Now let's see if we can get those tier 4 modules done. 5, 6. Could be tricky. I'm not so sure if she can manage that. 10. Oh, plastic case research is done. So we researched every technology available in this. Oh look, we are at just 14. Ah, that's bitter. Okay, so that didn't work out for us. This is bad. First, I want to fire those guys over here. Okay, I see. We also have the battery, but I have no usage for the battery right now. So I will trick a bit. I would just set now an electronic workbench over here. And I would take out some materials, so I need... okay, I would do it differently. Look, I'm taking out materials from here. I would take integrated circuits. I will take plastic parts. And what was it? Electronic parts? And I would now help a bit with manual crafting, I believe. I need circuit boards. Oh, look. I forgot about those. But they're still overproducing circuit boards, so that's fine. I would just take some. So, move here. And then I would just start crafting 5 of those. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Small register arrays. It should take 20 seconds. Let's speed it up quickly. And then we can help out producing register arrays 5. And then we should manage to get our goal. This is not very sustainable because actually we probably need to have that production for our next step properly. So we need to earn now 10,000 G a week with market appeal, with pocket computers that have a market appeal of 4 stars. So I will get rid of that one here. And the first thing I'm going to do is design a new pocket calculator that met the requirement. So we have the leaf dream, and I can click duplicate on it, and I will have a version of it that I can just modify. You see, our market appeal for this product actually decreased, and the reason is we are now requiring more processing power for it to satisfy the customer demand. But we also have the possibility to add data storage and some display fidelity. Okay, that doesn't sound so bad. The first thing I'm doing, I will stay with the wooden case because I'm already producing it. Then I will just switch the design to Sweet Clouds. That seems to be fine for me. Then I'm already producing this data storage component, the register array, right? So we have it anyways, just let's add it here. Now we are at 1.8. And we can have 0.5 points more in processing power and 0.2 points more in display fidelity. The display fidelity part. So let's check something else. We go into our market overview. We see now the pocket computers, and we can sell one pocket computer for 2,400 G. We are producing enough components for 14 pocket computers a week. We could simply reduce the amount of pocket computers we produce every week and instead use those modules to upgrade our pocket computer we have right now to just fit the demand, right? So we're producing the double amount of, let's say we're cutting down the production by 2. We still would make 7 to 8 pocket computers every week, but we would have modules left over. We would have some additional cases. We don't need those, we can ignore that. But we would have additional simple circuits, and we would have additional LED arrays. And this seems to be really good, favorable for us. So what I would do is first add another LED array. But then my display fidelity is at the maximum I can actually make use of. And then we have another simple circuit. I will add that. And now I have a problem. I'm ending at 3.6 market appeal. And I have not enough space anymore for another simple circuit. And I have no case with more slots. So what can we actually do? And my simple solution is either we're using an LED matrix or we're using a logic circuit, because look at that. The simple circuit has a size of 3 and giving me 0.2 processing power. I'm taking the logic circuit, which requires 1 field more, but also gives me double the amount of processing power. With the simple circuits, I would need 6 fields for it. With the logic circuit, I only need 4. And what would I need to make logic circuits? Look, simple circuits. Okay, we're producing them. We need 1 simple circuit for 1 logic circuit. We need some additional base material. This is super easy. We just need to purchase that. And then look, plastic parts. And you know, that's awesome. We're producing that component already, and we know we are overproducing it even. We have an overproduction of 20, if you remember correctly, every 10 seconds. So we can make 4 logic circuits every 10 seconds. This is probably way more than we require. So what I would do right now is I will remove this. You know what? I would just remove all the simple circuits. Let's do that. Let's go drastic measures. And now I have that logic circuit, and I have another one. With 2 logic circuits, I can make a market appeal of 4.5. How awesome is that? And that's actually reaching the goal. So I will finish that design. Done. Okay, let's check the situation, what we're doing right now. So I'm still producing everything as I need. What I need to produce now is up to 8 logic circuits every week. So we know I have the electronic workbench. Logic circuits can be produced every 4 seconds on it, right? So the only thing I need is 1 additional electronic workbench producing logic circuits. This seems to be really easy. Let's put it over there because we're very close to other materials we already need. We're giving it another shelf. It's not in range of any logic points, so now it should be right. Yes, so this is fine. It's a bit unlucky because it's 1 field away, but we can live with that. It should be still fast enough. We will set logic circuit production and then we're making our logistic connections. So now we see what we need and what we need to transport away. So first off, before I forget that, we still have the register arrays. And we need that at this shelf because our assembly tables will require that. So I would just take already care that those get transported over here with a higher priority. That is done. Secondly, I need to connect everything here. So we have our base material coming in. Check. Now we have our plastic parts coming in. Check. Let's check if the priorities are right. So it has a neutral priority that should be just fine for our means because the overproduction has a low priority, -2. And then we have the output of logic circuits. Very easily done. We know that drill, right? 2 connections, one to the shelves that where I will produce my product with high priority, and the overproduction will be sold with a low priority. And now I need to take care to get the simple circuits. Let's look over here. Simple circuits are get produced here. So I will make now that connection over here. And it's done. The only thing I need to take care is that the priority is high enough. So the highest priority is still setting on the shelf for production, which is nonsense because we will not need it anymore. We will disable this connection, we will remove it. And then we're saying this one has a higher priority right now. This is higher than average production, priority production, because I really need those logic circuits and I need to build them up. So I have set up all my logistics for this that it should work. Let's close it and let's hire that one additional employee required at this station. And because I increase the amount of materials that need to be transported in here, I will also hire additional logistic worker just to make sure that everything goes fine. And now we need to change the production. So as you see, my employees over here already have the problem that the inventory is full. Let's pause the game, let's look into the market overview, and it's really clear why that's the case. I could only sell 9 products of the olive dream because suddenly my rating was decreasing, but they still produce with the old rate. So what I will do right now is I will just simply change their production to the olive dream 2, because hey, it doesn't help me if you still try to produce the old product more. So what I need to do now is making that new connections. Let's look in here. Those are the modules I have. There are still the simple circuits in it, but I'm not using them anymore. The only reason they're still in is because I still have them in the inventory. I can ignore that for now, but I can see what connections do they need. They need the 2 new modules made as connections. Will be really easy if I just close everything again and just left click and drag over here, and you see new connection will be made. Okay. And then I need to make a connection from the assembly tables onto the outgoing zone. And I should be fine. So my only problem right now is, you see my reservation for this product is 1. This is not acceptable, I need more. But my issue is, if you look down here, that all the slots reserved from the bandwidth for that product still have something in it, so we need to sell those first. And I want to speed it up a bit, just to make sure everything is gone. I would just set a higher discount. We have 16 as said, so 42% should be fine. And then all those products should be sold. Okay, let's close this and continue. It is already Sunday, so it should be sold really soon. Those 2 still have some of the old products at hand, but that should not bother us, because as soon as sold, they will just place it down. Let's go back into the logistics, open it, and you see they only have 2 bandwidths left because every other connection was be removed. They only know they have 2 products of it in, and I have space to increase my bandwidth for my new product, which for some reason I cannot do. This seems to be problematic. Let me remove that. I make that connection again. Ah, now it works. Okay, this seems to be a little bugged, but we can work around that. So those guys are now missing logic circuit, but that's naturally because we just started the production. and I would take care that the simple circuits getting removed here, and I want to, oh, they have enough, okay. So I will move over here and just take care that those simple circuits are getting sold. I can also sell those register arrays I overproduced and any other component I just added into my inventory that I don't really need. Okay, that's fine. My logic circuit production should ramp up really soon, I believe. You see, they have she has enough material, Heli Mag Lightner. So she would just keep on producing. They're just really quick to actually use those materials, I believe. Let's check the blueprint. 13 seconds. So now a pocket computer takes 13 seconds instead of 8 because we added some additional modules. So it's fine. Let's fast forward. You see, they're just producing, and we already have 3 of those computers. We said, I believe we need 5 of them this time to fulfill our goal. Now we have 5 on them. The week is done, and congratulations, we managed to finish the campaign level 3 with all 3 trophies.
Kudos to the
and now,
CEO.
when we're done at this point, and we are done, we can just go back to our campaign map and start with the next level if you would like to. But at this point, we will close the video, because you probably now got an idea on how a level works, on how it can be solved, and what would be a good way of handling production, selling stuff, upgrading your production line. Hopefully it helped you to understand logistics a bit more, and if you still feel that something feels off or wrong, please send us feedback. We're still on improving the game, we are in early access, there can be still a lot of stuff be done. We know the game is not perfect yet, it's far away from it, but we are eager to always improve on the mechanics with your help, with your feedback. Thank you for watching the video, and hopefully you will see from us and hear from us very soon again. Bye.